Next week, I am going back to Italy for the second time this year, and I'm getting a little bit fairly.
So I just realized that people think it's the same traveling in the Europe as the United States. They only know it from like if they've never gone, they don't know that because of Europe having a 30 to 50% lower cost of living, that means travel over there is 50 to 30, and not only that, I the traveling is actually very accessible. So when I'm in Europe, I can get $15 euro plane tickets, 15 euro bus tickets, and 15 euro train tickets, and be in another country depending on your location. So the thing is, you guys think it's the same in the States. You have no idea. So I just want everyone to know who's not left the United States, you can get a cheap ticket to Europe. You can, I do that with backpack only travel. So, personal item only. That is a cheap ticket. Those are round trip $300 to $400. Backpack only. So I have other things I do to make up for that on the other end. But you can get a relatively affordable ticket. And then two, it depends on the country. Like some people travel to Spain because you get a single room, your own private bedroom in a hostel for 20 euros a night, 30 euros. I did for 35 euros in Barcelona. What's 35 euros a night? It's like $40 a night. What's $40 a night to stay in Barcelona? Whereas if I try to go to New York or Orlando, I'm paying at least 110, 120, or else I'm staying in some really violent, drug-filled, scary for women, trafficking is a concern potential like area. I remember I did that one time and I was like, I barely went to sleep. I was like, I'm sure people get kidnapped here. Like it's cheap, but oof, I was calling everybody and made sure they knew where I was and that the owner knew who I was. That's the States. And that was like the cheapest I could find for 110 in like Virginia Beach. It wasn't even like that great of an area. So I want to let you guys know, traveling over there is accessible. The cost of living in France is about 30% less than the United States. The cost of living in Spain, I think, is like 45%, 50% less than the United States. The cost of living in Greece is 40%. So that means the average person earns 40% less. So and every country has its own travel, right? For the people of its country. So that means if it's a 40, 50% less cost of living or lower cost of living, that means the people have created a country where their own countrymen who make a certain wage can travel, and it's within their budget so that it's accessible to the people of that country, right? So that's just like, so that means if you're in Albania, they make travel accessible to Albanians because that's their country. So the cost of living is low. And I know like I'm breaking this down, but you guys think that like all of Europe, like it's just, you think of Europe as America. Like it's not. It's individual countries and individual cost of living, individual infrastructures. And so so I can go to Italy and I can spend thousands, or I can spend I can spend 12 like this guy that I'm stitching. I can spend 1,200 for 15 days. He said he could do a week for 1,200. With the way I travel and I do 10 countries a year. The way I travel, I can do $1,200 can last me 15 days. It lasts me half a month, right? So the hotels he'll be staying at will be different with mine. And so I chose this. I said I'd rather travel more and maybe rough it than travel really nice and go on fewer trips, right? And so you might go, I travel once a year and spend 10,000. I travel 10 times a year and spend 10,000, right? Or whatever it might be. And so because of that, you're going to stay right across the street from Disneyland Paris. And I literally have stayed in Paris 3 times. I've either stayed in a hostel, and they're no longer youths because adults use them too. Or I'm like 40-minute bus ride to a suburb because that's where the price of the hotels fall, and it's still a nice hotel, right? I'm not staying in a cheap hotel, like whatever. But like, you see what I mean? So you're right across from the Eiffel Tower. I have to get up and know I have a 40-minute metro ride. We're still in Paris. You're in the city, but your total trip is like $200 a night, and mine is $45 a night. right? So I can just do more trips because a 7-day trip I'm paying $250 for. I pay more for food. I pay $250 for hotel. I pay about $30 for transportation. I might pay about for food maybe $250 for. I pay as much in the hotel for food between buying groceries and eating out. And my attractions, I'm like $600 in for a week in Paris. You can do a week in Paris as well and spend $5,000. I spend a weekend and I can spend $600. That is your choice. They literally have everything. And people honestly think Europe is the States. No. And then wait until you get to Southeast Asia. They have an even lower cost of living. That's like 60-70% less than the American cost of living. So think about traveling for the people in there. They've made it accessible, right? And this is just something that people don't know. And a lot of it is because the reason we have these opportunities is because real travelers let go of status for experiences a long time ago. So a lot of us talk about, yeah, I just don't buy new clothes, no designer clothes. I drive an old car. I live in a low-income neighborhood. Like in all my neighborhoods, I always live in low-income neighborhoods because my rents are like $600 for like a one-bedroom apartment. Like instead of $1,200, right? And that comes with some issues, but they don't bother me because I just fix my place up. So even if it's like the ghetto, like I make my room nice. Like just a little side note, like I live in a low-income apartment. My neighbor is messy. He has cockroaches, right? And so I'm spraying my place down, but it does nothing. So I'm like, hey, I saw some bugs come out of your house. And he's like, and I was like, I bought this. Use it. He's like, can you buy it and give it to me? I'll pay you money. I bought it. I gave it to him. He didn't pay me money. I don't care. You see what I mean? Like I live in a low-income area and there's issues that come with it, but you just fix it. Like pay the $18 for him. So when you spray, when I spray, you spray. So because you know, like if one apartment doesn't, the other one doesn't, it just runs. You want everyone to do it. Like I just make my low-income partner work. That's all. I just make it work. You do you. I make my low-income work. And any place I've been to that's a little lower income, it's actually been better off because I just put the work into it. Like I act like it's high income, right? And so because of that, so we've decided consciously to let go of status. And consciously, a lot of us have sold things. We consciously don't buy new clothes. We consciously will not buy the newest car and drive a beat up hoopty. Because since we don't have a car note, $300 plus high insurance because it's new versus an old car and we just have liability, we really just have very low overhead. My car's 21 years old and I want to drive it forever. So I just keep it maintained so I don't have to get a new car because I don't want a mortgage payment, which takes time for my travel, right? Because then that's one more thing taking my energy. But we really have gotten rid of status. Now, don't get me wrong. We go to beach clubs, but we go to beach clubs when we go to Bali or beach clubs in Spain. We still go to the beach clubs. I'm just not going in Orlando where it's really expensive. I will fly out. I will plan a whole trip about going to beach clubs when I'm in the south of France because it's still way cheaper, right? So that's the thing. And I really just think that you guys are assuming, and this is the problem, like you have to travel. You can't assume. No place is like America. It's really different here. So you have to just really stop assuming and just like understand that like these other places have lower cost of living and they've created a society based on their cost of living. And you just, if you can get to that location, you get to experience those prices that are made for the locals, right? So that's just an assumption I think most people make because that's the only reason you would think it had to be expensive because it doesn't.